again, thought it was quite inappropriate. That, he doesn't think the president and the FBI director should be chit-chatting. He interpreted it as an effort to kind of be chummy and kind of bring Comey into the fold.
CNN's Pam Brown has reported that Comey was so uncomfortable with these interactions that he rehearsed what he would say with his team before meeting with the president. Sources say the president's allies are now trying to convince him that he should stop complaining about the Russia investigation, while his advisors are looking for an outside legal team to represent the president through the special counsel's investigation. President Trump likely very close to naming a new FBI director, and sources tell CNN the front runner is former United States Senator Joe Lieberman, though there's still potential for Democratic opposition to that. The president sets out this afternoon for his long trip abroad. First stop, Saudi Arabia, away from the White House, not away from the controversy. Chris and Brooke.
All right, Joe Johns, and when it comes down to Comey versus the president, it's a credibility contest. How do we know whom to believe? We need proof. Joining us now is correspondent for PBS NewsHour, William Brangham. He did the interview with James Comey's friend, Benjamin Wittes. Wittes also wrote an article about his feelings about this situation. Thank you for joining us, friend. What was your takeaway from Mr. Wittes, starting with, do you believe that James Comey is well aware that Wittes is out there and well aware that somebody leaked what these memos were about?
Wittes was very clear with me to say, I'm not speaking as James Comey's representative. I'm not speaking as his surrogate. I'm simply trying to recount the experiences that he, Wittes, had interacting with James Comey during this very tumultuous period of time. The whole time that this investigation is swirling, that the accusations from the Trump administration are coming down on the intelligence community, and Wittes is talking with Comey on the phone. Wittes is having lunch with him. And so Wittes simply said, everyone has been leaking information and going off the record and giving this information on background. I, as a friend, want to come out publicly and say, here's what he told me when this was all going down.
So Wittes gives you a couple of different examples of whether it's on the phone when he thinks there's some urgent situation at the White House and he hops on the phone with the president just wants to chit-chat, which you couldn't believe. The other example, we'll roll the sound, is when Wittes tells you about this moment in the Oval Office 2 days after the inauguration when Jim Comey decides to go. It's for law enforcement and honoring them, and he's trying to stay away from the president. Here's the clip.
This was somebody under intense pressure. And look, Jim is a trooper. He handles pressure very well. He's not a whiner. But the color of the wallpaper was that these were not honorable people, and that protecting the FBI from them was his day job. If you watch the video, he extends his hand, and Comey's arms are really long, and he extends his hand kind of preemptively, and Trump grabs the hand and kind of pulls him into a hug. But the hug is entirely one-sided, so one guy in the hug is shaking hands. Comey was just completely disgusted by the episode. He thought it was an intentional attempt to compromise him in public.
So I hear the word disgusted, and when we discussed this morning, then if he was worried and wanted to keep that arm's length right between Comey and the president, why go to the ceremony in the first place?
Right, and we should preface this by saying, and Wittes pointed this out very clearly, that this is not some animus that Jim Comey has for President Trump, that he feels that this is just a bedrock principle, that the FBI director and the president, no matter their party, should not be chummy, should not be embracing, be seen shaking hands, be having chit-chatty phone calls. Comey apparently didn't even want to play basketball with President Obama. Comey is apparently a basketball player, and we know President Obama was. He thought that was inappropriate, too. So this is not a partisan issue. But Comey's point was, this is just not what an FBI director and a president do, especially in the middle of this big investigation.
It really does seem, though, that there's a building need for Comey to testify, because it strains credibility that a friend goes out and talks about this situation without approval, that this information comes out about the memos without knowledge and approval from Comey. And the question is, will he testify now that you have Mueller running and continuing the investigation? And he may ask the congressional efforts to stand down. What's your sense of what that means for Comey testifying?
Well, obviously, I think Comey wants to come out and put this record forward. Under what terms he does that? I mean, my sense, and again, this comes from no particular extra intel, is that Comey wants the record out there. That's partly why we believe that he put these memos down, which was to document in real time what he felt, according to witnesses, was real aggressive interference on behalf of the Trump administration towards him and trying to block the investigation. But it's totally up to the FBI director when and how he testifies.